What up, Facebook? Happy summer to you. Middle August. Summer's almost over. I'm trying to get this tripod straightened out so I'm not so crooked, so I apologize. Sorry, guys. I had like 5 people hit me up telling me it's past 9 o'clock. I'm aware it's past 9 o'clock. I had to drop my daughter off at cheerleading practice. You know, it's cheerleading season already. I don't know if you guys know that, you fathers out there with daughters, maybe some sons, I'm not sure, but it's cheerleading time, guys. You know, it's cheerleading season, some serious stuff. So, man, this tripod is not doing what I needed to do today, so I'm getting it tweaked. Oh, I'm almost there. Here we go. Oh, almost there. I need to get above the words. Woo! All right, guys, so here we go. Ready? Here's the deal. Let you guys hop on, get you guys motivated this morning, get you guys hopping. What's today? Tuesday. It's Tuesday. I'm in my office because Tuesday is level 10 day. So you hear me talk about how I run my company 1 day a week, 1 hour and a half per week. Tuesday is that day, okay? God, I feel like I need to sit up like this, but I can't do that because I'd be squatting. And I can't be doing these squats because I was at like this CrossFit type thing this morning called Torch. And they have my thighs burning and my legs burning. And I just can't do this for like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna sit like this and my face is gonna be behind the words and it's just gonna have to happen that way. Let me see if I can't get the tripod to come down a little bit and do it that way. All right, so here's the thing, guys. If you watch what I talk about, Torch is legit, no shit. I wish I had a phone book to sit on. So if you watch what I talk about any given day on Facebook Live, you guys know that it's a lot about culture. It's a lot about making sure that you guys are raising good teams, good culture, good availability to leverage people, process, and products so that you can get yourself out of the grind, out of the mouse wheel, right? And if you're watching this and you're either an owner-operator or an owner and you've become a visionary and you stepped out of it, this is going to be really, really important for you. So make sure you hang tight on this, okay? Because last week I had a room full of my business partners, my executive team, a bunch of CEOs from all around the country. I had guys flying in from Florida, I had guys flying in from St. Louis, had guys flying in from just all over the place, right? So I had a bunch of CEOs flying in, right? High-level people, and they're doing business on a big level, and they are experiencing challenges, right? Now, what are their challenges? Top challenges. So here's the thing. They're dealing with trying to know their numbers, right? KPIs, that's a common thing we hear about all the time. So, when you're starting your business, we always talk about knowing your numbers. Guys, when you're growing your business and you're starting to scale your business, not only do you have to know your numbers, your team has to know your numbers. That's an entirely different training. But what was the number one challenge across the room? The number one challenge across the room, and I did a post about this 2 days ago or yesterday, I'm not sure, about this, and that is hiring A players, right? Trying to find the right people to grow your team. And I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory on this, and then I want to talk about how I can help you guys do that. And I'm thinking about doing something to help you guys do that. So hiring A players, guys, about 5 years ago, I was of the mindset, see, I came from the military, right? And it's kind of counterproductive that I had this theory, right? Because in the military, you have a plethora of people, right? You have a ton of people, right? So when I was in the military, I grew through the ranks fast because I took my responsibility, I took my discipline, and I put it into action, and I advanced pretty quickly. So by the time I got out in 6 years, I had been responsible for a lot of people. I had deployed with a team. I had been able to carry that team of people and actually be in charge of them on my last deployment. And I had a lot of responsibility. I had a lot of people, and I was able to leverage them to do amazing things within the military. And then I got out, and I was a project manager for a high-level commercial development company, government contract development company. What's up, Ray? Good morning. What's up, Jason? High-level development, commercial development company down in Washington, D.C. I worked for a company called Kellogg Brown and Root, KBR, which a lot of you may have heard of. And I was working in a gigantic. I was working in the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is gigantic government building, and we had this gigantic multi-million-dollar contract. And I was responsible for a lot of teams, right? I had a lot of subcontractors. I had a lot of general contractors that reported to me, and I had a lot of leverage within that scope, right? So what happened was, what's up, David? What happened was I got out and I started my own business soon after that. And for some strange reason, I convinced myself that I was an island. I convinced myself that I didn't need anybody. I convinced myself that I didn't want to be responsible for employees. I didn't want to deal with W-2s. I didn't want to deal with payroll. I didn't want to have that responsibility. It made me super uncomfortable, and I didn't want to have those people around me. And it took me 5 years of working my balls off and grinding and trying to do it all myself. And in that 5 years, I made decent money. I want to tell you guys, I made good money. I did well, and at one point, I was making a couple $100,000 a year. In fact, I think my best year was like $350, completely by myself. But I was working 100 hours a week, plus I had just started having kids. I had just started putting the processes into place, right? Where I had a family now. I had a house, I had a wife, I had children, I had responsibilities. I had to break away and have time to spend with my family. I had to make time to spend with my family. And when you're an owner-operator of a business, and give me the like button if you can relate to this, right? If you're in that space where you feel like you're responsible for making it happen, but you just can't find a way to break free, right? I did this for years where I made a lot of money and I was doing the right thing, or I felt like I was doing the right thing, but I didn't see my children. I didn't see my wife. We didn't go on vacations. I ground until my fingers were bleeding, right? I would just keep working. In fact, I was a realtor. I was a house flipper. I was doing somewhat of a wholesale business before wholesale was really a thing back then, right? I was doing all these things. I had rental properties. I was doing all these things. I was wearing all these hats, all these different hats. And I didn't feel like I was myself. In fact, I use this analogy like I was Superman, right? I would jump into a telephone booth and I would take off my suit and tie and I would throw on clothes like this and I would go to the job site because I didn't want the guys that I was flipping houses with to know I was a realtor or to see me looking like a realtor because I thought they would lose respect for me. And I didn't want my realtor clients to see me like this because I thought they would lose respect for me, right? So I was constantly living an untrue and unfair life to myself, right? I was working my ass off, but I never felt right in my own skin. I never felt comfortable in my own skin because I never felt like I was living my unique self. I never felt like I was being myself. I never felt like I could show people who I was, right? And that, my friends, is actually half the battle, but I'll get back to that. So it took an epiphany for me to say, okay, I have to hire somebody. I have to put somebody in place and try to start to leverage some time. And one of my mentors convinced me, you know what, Joe, just hire an assistant. Just start with an assistant and see what that does for you. And I was terrified. I didn't want to pay for her salary. Even though I was making great money, all I could think about was, I'm going to take $40,000 or $50,000 of my $350 and I'm going to give it away to this person, right? That's the mindset of business owners, right? That's what we think. We think if someone costs me $50,000, that's coming out of my pocket. And by the way, while I'm making that money, and it could be decent money, you never have it, right? You can make a lot of money, and you can convince yourself you're saving it, but you never have $50,000 laying around in your savings account while you're making money or while you're growing, unless you've been in business a long time and you've managed to save that up. Maybe you have it in your IRA or you have it somewhere where you squirreled it away, but when you're building a business, that's a lot of money to have sitting around, right? So when you go to hire an employee and they cost you $50,000 a year, that's the only thing you think about. What's up, Diana? Diana knows this story, by the way, because she just posted about this the other day, so feel free to chime in. $50,000, you think to yourself, my God, how am I going to spend $50,000 on a human being and take a risk like that on somebody, right? But then what happens is this. You walk up to the edge of that ramp. You decide, I'm going to take the leap. It's scary as hell, folks. It's scary as hell, right? But what happens is this. If you do your due diligence, if you take the risk on the right person, if you decide to take a jump, a few things happen. Number one, you set the right expectations and you will get in return the right results. Here's where most people fail in hiring. They don't set expectations. So what happens is you hire somebody, you give them a task or you give them a bunch of tasks, and you expect them to be a superhero. You expect them to learn everything on their own. You expect them to take all of your problems and make them disappear. You expect them to be magicians. And then when they're not, you're let down and you get frustrated. And if you're not a good leader, an employee will become more of a burden to you than they are a help. If you don't set good expectations, you'll get bad results, right? So you have to become a better leader when you hire people. You have to become a better leader when people are relying on you to give them tasks, to give them guidance, to give them leadership, to give them vision, to give them focus. You have to explain to them what you want done, how you want it done, when you want it done, right? You have to give them all that. So when you're a business owner and you're super busy, and then you hire someone to make you less busy, what you're going to find on the front end is you have to put in the work to make them help you. You actually have to do more work up front to make it a great hire. But then what happens magically? Within the first 2 months, you're going to find that investment in them, let's call it a $60,000 a year employee for easy math, cost you $5,000 a month. Within the first 2 months, that employee is going to do one of two things. If they're in sales, they're either going to start making it back for you, either double or triple. If they're an assistant and you are the one making the money in the company right now, they're going to free you up enough time that you are going to start making double or triple back on what you pay them, right? The efficiency, the leverage, the ability for you to scale that up, the ability for you to see that grow, the time that you gain back to go spend time with your family, to put that on your calendar to take your wife out on a date or your husband out on a date, the time you can gain back on your kids to go drop them off at cheerleading practice in the morning, to get them ready for school, to spend time with them to learn about them, right? To actually interact with your family, maybe not your immediate, maybe your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, right? To spend time with your team if you are at that level where you can start to leverage other people and then learn about them. Folks, this is what visionaries do. When you start to get out of the owner-operator space and become an owner of your business, you start to leverage time and trade money for time. Because ultimately, and those of you that are watching are starting to make money, that's amazing. Once you've made money, the next step is to trade it for time. The next step is to trade it for time and then leverage the money to make other money while you're keeping your time. So if this is important to you, I've thought about this, and I've thought about this for the last couple of days because while I was giving this training last week in this room full of guys, a lot of them had this problem. How do you find these A players? Joe, I've hired a lot of people, and you know what? They've all sucked. Well, here's the hard truth. I've hired a lot of people too, and we've let a lot of people go, and they've come and they've gone. And some of them have sucked. Some of them we should have never hired. Some of them we just rolled the dice, and it turns out they did suck. Some of them were A freaking players, and we failed them as leaders, right? So guys, in the 5 years that I've gone from one employee, now we're at like 6 years. I keep saying 5. I've been saying 5 for a year and a half, but I think we're at 6 or 7 years. That we've been in this process of going from one employee to 27 employees. And I call it a Super Bowl team. We don't even call them employees. When you're in this roof, when you're in this building, this is a Super Bowl team. My roster is a Super Bowl winning roster, okay? Everyone in this office is a team player, not an employee. They are on a roster that's going to win the Super Bowl. They all feel that. They all understand the culture. There's a process in hiring an A player. If you guys want to learn that process, I want to teach it to you. So, what I thought about this in the last week during my training and in the people that sat in the training last week, I taught this process to them, and there were so many aha moments, it started to occur to me that I have a moral obligation to pass on this information to more people. Not just the $5,000 people who were able to pay $5,000 and spend 2 days with me in the office, but also the people out there who run businesses, who have the ability to hire people, who have the ability to scale up, so that maybe one day you can afford to come to an event. Who knows? It's not an upsell. It's just an ability for you to learn the process. So if you have an interest in learning this process, I want you to comment below, I'm in, right? Just say, I'm in, and we will send you the information. I'm going to do a live training on this. And here's the deal. the system that we use only allows like 200 people in there. We have like a free version. I don't do trainings online, guys. I don't know if you know me, if you follow me for a while, I don't do this stuff. But I feel like I have to give this stuff out. And I don't just want to blanket do it on Facebook, because the fact of the matter is that just doing it on Facebook, I don't know who we're going to get. I want to make sure that people that are watching are people who are going to get value out of this. They're people who are actual business owners. Now, here's the thing about me saying the word business owner. I think we scare a lot of people. If you are an owner-operator, almost every 1099 employee is a business owner, okay? If you are a 1099 employee salesperson, you're probably a business owner. If you're a real estate agent, you're a business owner. If you don't feel that way, now's the time to switch your mentality, guys. Now's the time to start treating your business like a business. If you want to start leveraging and growing, you have to find A, players, and you have to learn how to hire the right people to leverage them to build a culture and to build a team. You have to find a way to get great people to want to follow you. And that is a mental shift. That is a transition for a lot of business owners, because it takes removing your ego. It takes deciding that you want to make the transition, folks. It takes learning to give them the power to do a job and hold them accountable and make them responsible and allow them to do a job so that they take ownership of that job. There's so many things that go into this, and that's why it requires me to do a half-hour, 45-minute training. It doesn't happen on Facebook Live. It's something I want to give back to you. So here's the deal. 2 things. Post I'm in if you're interested, and we'll send you a message. I'll have Amanda send you a message with the information to log in. And if you share this video to other people that could potentially be interested, that you think could get great value out of this, we'll give you an additional bonus at the end of the training. I'll show you how you can log on and get the training, right? So if you can get the training and then you share this video for additional people that might not be able to get the training as well, then we'll give you an additional free giveaway at the end of the training that I only give to the people that come to the $5,000 mastermind, right? So it's something I only give in the booklet, which I don't have near me, of course, that I only give out to the $5,000 mastermind participants, right? I'm going to give you a free employee guide on how to find what we call unique ability. I'll leave you guys with one last thing. I heard Will Smith said something this morning. Not that I think that Will Smith is some kind of ancient philosopher or anything like that, but here's the deal. Will Smith's been putting out a lot of content lately, and he said something this morning that I kind of agree with. He said there's a difference between, there's a difference between passion and skill, or something like that. Passion is something you're born with. Passion is something you have the ability to go out and do, right? Skill is something you have to learn. Now, I have a little bit of a unique twist on this. When you're passionate about something, when you can do something automatically, and you guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of you make money doing what you're passionate about. A lot of you can make money automatically, whether it's you sell something, or whether it's you build something, or whether it's you have a widget you created, or you have a product or a system. Whatever that is, you make money doing what you're passionate about. And then you have these things that you have to build on. Those are your skills, right? So for example, if you're a real estate agent, you might be a natural people person. That's what you're passionate about. But your sales is a skill. There you go. Talent and skill, passion and skill, same thing. Passion and talent is the same thing, right? So your skill is what you have to learn. So a real estate agent might be decent at being a people person, and they can start to make money. They can make money that way just having a good personality, right? But the skill is learning how to sell, is learning what to say in order to close a deal, is learning the body language, the neuro-linguistic processing, the things that you have to do to help people cross that bridge into the sales, right? To get them to sign. So their passion or their talent is what they're naturally gifted with. Their skill is what they have to get better at. Folks, in order for us to find your unique ability and your passion, we have to figure out how to hire the things that you're not good at. We have to start getting the stuff that you're naturally not gifted at, the skills that you have to work really hard at doing, we have to outsource. You should be spending as much time on your passion and talents as humanly possible. And I want to teach you how to do that. So, again, I won't keep you on here any longer. I appreciate you watching. If you found value in the video and you want to learn how to build a team and you want to learn how to hire even that first person, just post "I'm in" below, and we'll make sure we get you a link for the training. I appreciate you guys watching. Have a killer Tuesday. I'll check back in with you later.